Hey everybody, welcome to the Shoe Soap Podcast. I'm Jesse Mizell, and today we're here with Emery Westrich. Thanks for doing this with us, Emery.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk a little bit about cancer among firefighters. It's became a really big epidemic, I guess you could say, that so many firefighters and people in the fire community are affected by. And so, Emery, if you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself to start off with, and we'll get into it.
Yeah. So, like I said, my name's Emery Westrich. I've been a firefighter here in Central Indiana, specifically Hendricks County, um, for the last 9 years. Starting out in high school, starting in various programs and stuff, and basically diving head first right out of high school. Kind of made my way through the ranks to where I am I'm a captain up north, about an hour away from Indianapolis. So I'm the shift commander, but I also oversee our fire training. So I stay pretty busy with that.
Nice. Well, thanks for your service. First off, we are all very appreciative of all of our men and women in the fire department, and we couldn't live peaceful, nice lives like we live without you guys. So thank you, first off. So one key number I think that we want to just point out to start off with this is over 60% of the line of duty deaths, basically in the last 20 years, for firemen and women have been related to cancer. So it's a pretty, huge number.
Yeah.
I think from an outsider, I've always thought about, the primary danger of the job being fighting the fire, right?
Yeah.
But to think that, this cancer, can be something that affects you long after that's over.
Right.
It's definitely important to talk about. So I guess tell us a little bit about how you all are kind of tackling this and trying to overcome, what's became a serious problem.
Yeah. So I would say over probably the last 10 years, we have had the most development in occupational cancer research. And I'm no expert on this topic by any stretch of the imagination, but I do try to stay spun up on it and the new developments and stuff and the new best practices, just because if it's something that I can stay ahead of, we're starting to see, especially around here in Central Indiana, we're starting to see a lot of the job related cancer in our retired folks. So like our state fire marshal, he's 30, 40 years plus in the Indy metropolitan area. Now, mainly working in the office as much as he tries not to be in there.
Right.
But now it's affecting him. You see, and he's a great advocate for it, for the initiatives and stuff. He's turning his situation into an educational thing for other firefighters.
Right.
But so obviously new things are coming out all the time. But right now, there's a few different things that we do, and a lot of it's budget restricted, unfortunately. So it all depends on how certain administrations or certain municipalities can kind of wiggle that into the budget to protect the firefighters. So I know one thing, like where I work, we're fortunate enough we have what we call a gear extractor. So it's like your regular clothes washer, except it extracts carcinogens and soot and all that stuff from the gear itself. And so we have a policy. Most places do have a policy after any fire. We all get assigned 2 sets of fire gear. So after we get back from a fire, first thing we'll do is put our stuff in the gear extractor. And then another initiative that we kind of take is after we do that is we try to shower within an hour afterwards. So an hour after we clean up, get everything back, get in the shower all that bad stuff off. And some other places that don't have as much of a restricted budget actually are pushing for infrared saunas.
Okay.
So just getting in there, usually like an assault bike or something in there to kind of help sweat everything that just kind of absorb through the skin, because we're seeing that the main ways that that's coming in is absorption and inhalation. Breathing in the carcinogens.
Uh-huh.
The fire service is it's a traditional line of work. A lot of things are just set in tradition, and one of those big things that um, is a big learning curve that we're trying to address right now. I'd say probably one of the most common things is maintaining respiratory protection throughout the entirety of the incident.
Okay.
So as soon as a fire goes out, traditionally, especially weather like this, 80, 90-degree days, it's hot, you're in all
Right.
that gear, you want to shed as much as you can as quick as you can. So we go into after the fire goes out, we go into what we call an overhaul operation, where we're in the house. It's maybe not the clearest of breathing air, but it's doable. But those carcinogens are still in that air, so we'll be checking for extension, checking walls, ceilings, stuff like that outside of the origin of where the fire is located. And that's typically a time where we take our masks off. One thing that we're trying to
Right.
stay ahead of now is keeping those on for the entirety of the incident. It's kind of one of those things. It sucks, but it's a small thing that we can do to um, try to stay ahead of
Yeah.
the cancer issue.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, when it's super hot, you guys have just, successfully accomplished your mission for the most. I mean, the immediate
Yeah,
danger's out. You're assessing the rest of the situation. Yeah, I can totally see how it'd be really easy to go ahead and
yeah,
shed that gear.
yeah.
But yeah, basically just encouraging everybody to, it's not worth it to kind of expose yourself to that extra level of risk,
Yeah.
right? Um, no, that's awesome. Like you said, I mean, some of this stuff comes down to kind of the equipment that you have available. So
Mhm.
let's talk about like medical checkups as well. I know as men, kind of along the same lines of like taking the mask off and stuff like that. I mean, there's been stuff that I've done that, I look back on and say, hey, I probably should have followed some of the proper, protocols or
Yeah.
whatever with PPE. And obviously a lot of the stuff you guys, it's not really a choice
Right.
even, but it's just standard operating procedure. But there might be some little gray areas, kind of
Mhm.
like what you were talking about, where you can take an extra step. But talk to me about the importance of a medical, exams or checkups or what you all do on
Yeah.
a regular basis.
Yeah. So I'm I'm fortunate enough to where I work, and most full time fire departments in the state of Indiana are in the state police and fire retirement pension, and I'm fortunate enough to be in that as well. And as a part of the requirement for being in that retirement fund is that we are mandated to do annual physicals.
Okay.
So we actually use a place in most of us around here do. We use a place in Indianapolis, and it's not just like a skim of the surface kind of thing. It's blood work. It's I mean, checking head to toe, inside and out. I mean, everything. Um, Making sure that your levels are where they're supposed to be. Typically, those doctors will, if you're at a higher risk for cancer, those doctors will look at 3 years worth of uh, annual physicals,
Uh huh.
and they start to see okay, we've got a trend here, this number's going up or this number's going down, or we like where we're seeing it, and then they so that's kind of the way that we can go about it medically to at least stay informed.
Uh huh.
So fortunately, that's a requirement for us now.
Nice.
There's a lot of volunteer fire departments, or just a lot of
Maybe
but
smaller
yeah, small,
outfits,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, smaller outfits, smaller places that either don't have full time firefighters, or they have full time firefighters, and they have a different retirement where those things maybe aren't required. I know some places, especially if you go work like part time somewhere, typically they will kind of put it on you as a part of your application process to go out get a physical.
Uh
But
huh.
something's better than nothing. But a job oriented physical is probably the most effective way, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, I think we know with all cancers, right, that early detection is really important. Hopefully you never have to deal with it, but if you do, the earlier that you catch that and you can come up with a game plan how to attack it, and hopefully it's not, progressed to that level where it's very serious.
Right.
No, that's great. Well, like we had mentioned, one of those statistics earlier. I mean, there's so many different types of cancers that because you do this job, you have a way higher risk of getting. And so we just want to spread awareness about this, because if you're not in this every day, you may not think about that. I mean, it kind of makes common sense, right? That doing what you're doing, you would have greater risk of that. But I think for outsiders like myself, maybe we just don't think about it all the time.
Well, it's always developing. Like I said, the research is always developing. Um, our IAFF, International Association of Firefighters, they are doing great work on the front lines with at the legislative level, making sure that you know not only are our elected officials brought to light on this issue, but we're also putting things in place, putting bills or whatever, putting laws into place, whatever it may be, to from that 1,000-foot view to really tackle this head on. And they do great work, and that spans from all the way up at the top, all the way down to basically any fire department that is unionized has a union rep, a whole union team. So it's a wide spanning thing, and they're doing good stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, you mentioned the International Association of Firefighters. There's also the Firefighter Cancer Support Network. We'll have some links for some of these different organizations, but like you said, there's entities out there specifically dedicated towards advocating and doing work every day to see this improved, right? So one of the things we're excited to do, is we're going to be launching a special T-shirt for sale on our website, choosehope.com, designed for firefighter cancer awareness. And for every shirt that we sell, we're going to be taking 30% of the proceeds and donating them to the International Association of Firefighters, who are specifically, dealing with this every day. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully we can, spread awareness and make some donations as well.
Absolutely. It's a great thing.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with us. Having somebody who's in this every day, I think it's great to be able to have that, perspective. And, ultimately just want to say thank you to you guys for all the stuff that you do to keep us all safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just, with this, I hope most firefighters nowadays are pretty well informed between the internet and social media and stuff like that. But should there ever be somebody that may not be spun up on this topic that is in this line of work or is looking to get in this line of work, hopefully if they're watching this, kind of gives them more insight, but also the general public, like you said, just so that maybe as taxpayers, if you see a bump in the fire tax or something, and this is not what that's about, but if you see some extra expenditures with the fire department that you may be like, I don't know, okay, well, that's going towards a gear extractor, that's going towards a second set of fire gear, all these different things. Okay, now I understand. This is to protect them. This is to get them, provide them a long, happy life, especially long after retirement.
Right.
So,
well, it's kind of one of the things we didn't really mention yet, but I mean, a long, long time ago, there wasn't this level of knowledge and information about all this risk, probably, right? So, things that they may have not needed 45 years ago, they did need them, but they just didn't know.
Yep.
And so now we know,
Yeah.
or we're knowing more all the time.
Right. Absolutely.
No, that's a great point. Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching. We hope you enjoyed it and found some information helpful. And for anybody out there that's dealing with cancer right now, we just want to encourage you. We're praying for you, and thank you for watching, and thank you for choosing hope. We'll see you next time.